Hello everyone, welcome to Taltech. We are going to be talking about the for loop, how the for loop functions, and how it works. So, what is a for loop? What is a loop in general? A loop is just like, something that repeats itself until a particular limit, like it has an endpoint. After repeating itself a particular number of times, for a particular number of times, it has an endpoint. Like the endpoint is the one that's going to tell it to stop. We have an iteration. What is iteration? Iteration is just a way of repeating something. Maybe when you say plus one, like add one to this particular thing to make the next one, that's an iteration. You're asking it to move in the positive direction. When you say minus or minus one, like minus one, you're asking it to move in the negative direction, or you're asking it to go down or up. So that's an iteration. So we need to write a code, using the for loop. You need to understand what it means by iteration. You need to understand what it means by repeating a code, like repeating something from a particular number to a particular number. You understand what I'm saying? So let's do it. Let's initialize, or what this thing. Let's initialize it with I. Then we use our for loop. Say for I is equals to, what we need to do is that what we need to initialize I. After declaring I, we need to initialize I. So when we say for I is equal to 1, that means we have initialized I to be 1. We have initialized I to be 1, like I's first value is going to be 1. We have initialized I to be 1, like I's first value is going to be 1. So after initializing I, we need the second part is going to take what? The condition. What is a condition? I want I to repeat itself from this particular range to this other range. Like let's say I should, maybe it should not be more than let's say it should not be more than 30 or something. Okay, I should be less than 30, or let's say 31. Okay, I should be less than 31. And then what? After I should be less than 31, I plus plus. That means we are taking the first value of I. We are taking the first value of I to be 1. We have initialized I to be 1. So I is going to check this condition. For I is equals to 1. Is the condition true? Yeah, if the condition is true, that means obviously it's going to move to the next step. But if the condition is false, it's not going to move to the next step. You understand? If the condition for I is equals to 1 is true, it's going to move to the next step. But if the condition is false, it's not going to, like the for loop, that the loop is going to be skipped. The compiler is literally going to skip the loop and move to check the next one. So when you say for I is equal to 1, yeah, the condition, if the condition is true, now we are printing I. We need to see what I is going to produce. So what are we going to print here? We are going to print %z. Since we declare it as an integer, we are going to print %z, comma I. We are going to print %z, comma I. Like the comma I shows that what we are printing I. If you don't show that the %z I'm printing is I, the compiler can really don't understand what you mean by %z. What you mean by it should print what exactly am I printing? That's the question. So when you say comma I, we are actually telling the compiler that I want you to print I want to print the value of I. So this is how the loop is going to work. It's going to come here. It's going to check I. Is it equals to 1? Yes, I is equals to 1. We have initialized that I equals to 1, and it's already declared up here. So it's going to check the condition. Is it less than 31? Yeah, the condition is true. It's going to print I. It's going to print the first I, that's 1. It's going to go back to the loop, because we say a loop is just like a repetition. Like we are using this I plus plus iteration, to increase the loop one after the other. If you don't use I plus plus as an iteration, you see, using I plus plus as an iteration, that means it's going to print one number of times, like the number of times till infinity. Like it's not going to have an endpoint, because 1 is less than 31. But when you give it that we adding +1, plus means add +1 to it, it's going to print +1 till it reach a particular limit, and it's going to stop. That's the 30th limit, and it's going to stop. Now let's build a code and run. Let's build a code and run it. Let's build a code and run. Let's say in the main function, implicit declaration, and let's line print. Okay, sorry. Let's print f. Let's print f. Print f. Yeah, that's print f. Okay, so that is it. That's it. You see, they have print from 1 to 30. Oh, sorry, it's not like really, it's not like really very open. Let's make sure that it should be gapped. Like, let's print %4. This 4 here is just like give a gap of 4 after printing each character. Like, yeah, after printing each integer, give a gap of 4. So this is it. You see, that printed what from 1 to 30. That's from 1 to 30. If you count the very well, it's literally from 1 to 30 because I moved from one point to another. So that's a simple way how you know how the loop functions. And in our next video, we are going to be talking about how to print a star, using multiple for loops, how the multiple for loops functions, because actually that always confuses some people. Like when you are into programming, like a starting program, is always confusing people. So we are going to talk about that one in the next video. So if you enjoy this, you are free to come again for more videos like this, basic principles on coding.